Okay, now that we are wrapped up with our repairs, we wanted to sit down and chat with you about what we got done, how much it cost, and how long it took. If you're just here for the money talk, go ahead and skip forward to this time. But if you want to hang out with us, experience the live aboard adventure, and see our boat fly out of the water, stay tuned.
'Cause all that I want is for you to be happy. Give me a chance to show that you can be. Well, open your eyes and see the way I see. 'Cause all that I want is for you to be happy with me.
We are finally done with 90% of the repairs on this boat, and it's time for us to get out of Charleston. The last thing we need to do as far as repairs go is get our sail drive seals replaced. So we're getting hauled out tonight. Oh, and while she's out of the water, we're gonna go ahead and get the hull pressure washed because she's been sitting in Charleston for a month and we haven't wanted to dive in and scrub the bottom. So she's dirty and she needs a little bath. So they're gonna take care of that, and tomorrow morning we'll be on our way up north towards Annapolis. Our goal initially was to do an ocean passage up to Annapolis, but the weather around Hatteras has been looking really dicey for two newbies that don't necessarily know what they're doing. So what I think we're gonna do is take the intercoastal up for a couple of days, stop somewhere in North Carolina, and wait it out to see if the weather clears up so that we can do an ocean passage for the rest of the trip. So it's time to help Charles with the lines and get off this dock. We're not moving far today, just a quick trek up the Cooper River to the boatyard for our haul out. It's roughly 10 nautical miles and should take us about 2 hours using the motors.
Oh, there's nothing in my way. There's nothing in my way. There's nothing.
So that crane right there is our ride, or our lift, out of the water. They're going to change the sail drive seals. To help Jay find the sail drives and other stuff that he needs to get the final repairs done, and then we're gonna go hang out in a hotel. Hang out in the hotel for the evening.
So if you haven't seen it, check out our video on our survey, and if you have seen it and don't remember, we ended up asking for $15,000 of concessions after the survey because there was a number of big ticket items that we really wanted to address. Now that we have finalized everything on our repairs, we know how we did against that number and we wanted to talk about it.
Before we do that, just one quick preface. We decided to pay somebody to do all the maintenance on our boat. We look forward to being able to do maintenance ourselves in the future, but right now we both have full-time jobs and this is just what made sense for us. Everybody's situation is different and your mileage might vary.
So without further ado, the first thing that we wanted to get done was the engines. We have two 29 horsepower Yanmars as our primary engines and one 20 horsepower Yamaha on the dinghy, all of which were in desperate need of maintenance. The Yanmars were at 1,700 hours and hadn't really had any maintenance that we could tell. They were certainly past due for their 1,000-hour maintenance, so we had everything done that we could think of, from oil changes and changing the filters to even cleaning the injectors and replacing the heat exchangers. Parts and labor for all of that for the Yanmars came out to exactly $1,200, and then the dinghy engine wouldn't even start, so we had it sent to a certified Yamaha service center, and that cost, including parts, labor, and transport, cost, give me 1 second.
Check the notes.
$966. So all told for the engines was $2,241 to get them running tip-top. The other thing that was really good about the engines was that we were able to work with the sellers of the boat. We actually had that done prior to even taking ownership of the boat, so that was really helpful to just get some of that out of the way quickly.
Yeah, and we understood we were taking a risk there since it wasn't closed, but it was a risk we were happy to take.
Yeah.
Another big ticket item that we were going to have to repair was the air conditioners. If you remember, neither of them were working when we got the boat, but there was also a lot of corrosion on them, so we were really hopeful that we were just going to be able to clean them up. And as it turns out, that worked. The starboard engine wouldn't even turn on. Oh, sorry. The starboard air conditioner wouldn't even turn on, but that was due to a busted water pump. So once we cleaned up the corrosion and replaced the water pump, it started working. And the portside air conditioner just needed to be cleaned up. Parts and labor to clean everything up and get the raw, and for the raw, guys, parts and labor for the raw water pump were $562.
Raw water pump. Say that. You, say it. Raw water pump.
Raw water pump. Water. And getting the air conditioners done was another thing we were able to do before we even took ownership of the boat, so that when we stepped aboard, everything was nice and cool. Because of the corrosion, they might end up needing to be replaced, but for now, they've just kept up with the South Carolina summer.
So the third and final big ticket item was the damage to the gel coat. If you remember, there was a 14 by 8 inch spot on the port side that had a lot of delamination, and then there was a 15-foot by couple of inch scratch that was superficial on the starboard side. We just got the structural one, the port on the port side that needed to be redone. We got that fixed, and we left the starboard side for when we need to paint. Loud. The gel coat repair involved cleaning out all of the existing gel coat, the existing fiberglass, and then rebuilding it from the fiberglass to the gel coat to the paint, and that actually took about 4 days, most of which was drying time, but because there was so much rain during that time frame, it actually took 2 weeks, so that's why we were stuck on the dock for so long, just waiting for the rain to subside so we could get the hole in our boat closed. Total cost for the gel coat repair was $1,100.
All right, and then all that's left was some miscellaneous small repairs. So we needed to get the coolant flushed on the generator. We needed some O-rings for the water maker canister. The gas struts on the generator locker weren't strong enough to hold up the hatch, so we went ahead and replaced those. The windlass remote only worked in one direction, so we replaced that. And let's see, oh, the slides for the fridge were all rusty and made it really hard to open, so we went ahead and ordered those parts as well. So the total cost for all the parts and labor was $1,046. Oh, and I'm not going to say that it was super fast going getting all that done. Because we were there and waiting for the gel coat, they kind of just fit us in whenever we had time, so all of that happened probably slowly over the course of a month.
So the last thing on the list was the sail drive seals needed to be replaced, and while that's a minor repair, it does involve taking the boat out of the water, which makes it more of a major repair. So as you just saw, we took the boat out of the water. The cost for the haul out and storage for the night was $681, which comes out to just under $17 a foot.
Oh, And then we threw in a pressure wash. Because like I said, she dirty.
She had a dirty bottom. Parts and labor for the sail drive seals came out to $763. So that gives us a final tally on our original $15,000 concession request, and everything that we just talked about will have cost us a total of $6,685. On that $15,000 request, we feel like we've done pretty well. The biggest thing was whether or not we would have to get the air conditioners replaced, so eventually that will probably need to happen, hopefully 10 plus years from now, but we're riding them out for as long as they will. While we wouldn't necessarily recommend everyone that we worked with, two people that definitely deserve a shout out are Will Miller of the Charleston Sailing School, who we've been working with for a while since he was our broker, and Luke Valenza of Carolina Custom Restoration, who did the gel coat, who was fantastic, top notch. Even though it took an extra, it took us 2 weeks and we thought it would take 4 days, he was always on top of communication and things like that.
Yeah,
so.
we always knew if there was going to be a delay, why there was a delay, and it was always the weather.
Having said that, we haven't talked about anything that's a want on the boat, and we are starting to develop that list. Things like more solar and lithium batteries and things like that, but that is a conversation for a different video.
Absolutely.
So we couldn't be happier with how repairs turned out.
So that's it. I hope that was helpful. Please subscribe.
Leave a comment or a like down below.
And let's get the boat back in the water. Just got back to the boatyard and everyone just showed up. Hopefully they're gonna get the boat back in the water here and we can be on our way to start our first day cruising up the ICW. Never in my wildest dreams would I have thought that we were actually going to be back in the water by 8:30, but hopefully that means that we can be underway by 9. Isn't too far off of our goal. We're just really killing it on the schedule these days, which need to knock on wood right now.
As with most things in life, packing takes a lot longer. Getting the boat out of the water took about an hour and a half. Getting the boat back in the water, about 15 minutes.
Now the most important cargo. Ready, buddy? Then you can get out of this ridiculous bag.